So I got my dog Jay Taylor in the studio with me, man. So I
Yo,
got a question for you, man. Who all big time athletes have you done trained?
Audio Jungle. Audio.
What's happening with y'all, man? It's your boy D Hop back at you with another one. With that being said, welcome back to another episode on D Hop TV. On today's show, I got my dog, my partner, my homie. I got Jay Taylor on the
yo,
podcast. Appreciate you for taking the time to come on my show, my boy.
appreciate you for having me, bro. For sure. You know what I mean? I'm ready to get to it.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So before I get started on your journey, man, so how's everything been going for you in your life and everything?
Man, God is good. I
Yeah.
can't do no complaining if I wanted to. You know what I mean? He blessed me to be busy with work and
Yeah.
doing something I love to do.
Yeah.
So right now, bro, like all is well.
Yeah,
I just want to try to
everything.
stay right here, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. for sure.
Everything been busy. I've been seeing you
Yeah.
been doing your thing, working hard, grinding,
Yeah.
getting to that your successful point for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a journey to get there, but sometimes when you reach a certain point, you kind of want to get in that kind of groove, and like you said, once you find your rhythm, you got to stay there.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel that.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and get today's show started, man. So let's tell me about your background and where you from.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Little Rock, Arkansas. Shout out to the home team, 501.
Shout out to 501
You know
Lil
what I
Rock.
mean?
Yeah.
Man, my background. Listen, how much time you got? Because the background is extensive.
Yeah.
I mean, grew up playing ball. I mean, I played ball all the way through high school, all the way through college.
Yeah.
And man, I went to school for mass communication, so I did radio. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So my background, I guess, you would say sports and radio, or communications rather. But then,
Yeah.
fast forward to now, obviously, I'm more so into the performance on the sports side of things.
Yeah.
Yep.
What school did you go to in Little Rock?
So I went to Mills.
Went to Mills?
Yeah, I went to Mills. Shout out to
Okay.
2007.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
That's your year. Shout out
my
to 2012 Parkview High School, though, man. I gotta represent my class for
my
sure.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So so going back to your journey, so how
Mhm.
did you get started into training and performance?
Man, funny enough, man, my mentor slash unc, big unc, he at the time it was a time period where I was kind of dibbling and dabbling, what I'm saying, with training, just kind of part time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think how I really, really got started was he had an opportunity for me with a colleague of his
Yeah.
to work with his baseball team. That's what it
Okay.
was.
Yeah.
But he had just built a facility. He was looking for somebody to kind of manage and oversee the facility, but also train his teams.
Yeah.
And so, I think one of the things that have always kind of got me where I was is I never say no. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna say yes to everything. If I can make it work, I'm gonna make it work.
Okay.
So really, that's how I got my start.
Yeah.
Had no clue what I was about to do, but I
Yeah.
said yes.
How did your first ever training go for you?
Ooh, my first ever training.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I think back to it, I think my first ever training was it probably wasn't the best,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I think it was probably intense,
Yeah.
if anything, you know what I mean? Because always growing up, the way we was trained or the way we was coached, because we didn't even have training, but the way we was coached was like just intense, hard. So like you just had to work really, really hard, no matter what
Yeah.
you was doing.
Yeah.
So I would say if it was nothing else, it was intense
Yeah.
for sure.
So when did you like that define a moment for, and when did you know that you could probably like build a career off this?
Man, I think for me, I didn't realize I could build a career in like out of this until like, bro, I ain't gonna lie, probably
Yeah.
like right before COVID. Shout out to my sister, man, Allie the Pub, Allie Wash. Um, she kind of sat me down and we were just looking at different things at the time. I was doing radio, I was on the back end
Yeah.
of that. COVID hit. And then I was just kind of like searching. Because
Yeah.
once everything shut down, like I couldn't throw parties.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do the radio show still, but like most of my income was like, from hosting events
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I had to pivot a little bit and figure out like how could I make more money.
Yeah.
And so we figured out like, got a pen and paper out and wrote things down and like figured out how we could scale if I really took training serious.
Yeah.
And so I would say, bro, it wasn't until
Yeah.
2018, something like that, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you said, like so you really gotta love to do to for when did you know that you like probably like you actually like love doing this type of
Man, I think I found out like really, really soon because I had always worked, 3, 4 jobs,
yeah.
just keep some paper coming in. And I think once I realized that doing this didn't really feel like work, it was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Really wasn't nobody kind of telling me what to do, when to
Yeah.
take a lunch break, what to wear.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think for me, I found out relatively quick, like, yo, like, I think I love this. Plus, I'm an athlete, so I
Yeah.
always love being around
Okay.
ball.
Yeah.
Um, and so I found out relatively quick, like, yo, this is something that I'm passionate about and I
Yeah.
love. I could really see
For
myself
sure.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You play football and basketball or just
Yep. So football, basketball, and ran track.
okay.
Um, I say basketball was my first love.
Yeah.
I was better at football.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know I could run track until one of my coaches kind of made us
Yeah.
run track. But it ended up paying off in the long run.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he did.
So since we talking about those sports, so who is your favorite basketball player, football player, track runner if you got one? Three.
Come on. All right. Favorite basketball player. I ain't gonna lie. Of all time?
Yeah, all
Ah,
time. Bro.
man, that's tough. I'm gonna go Allen Iverson.
Okay.
I'm gonna go AI.
Yeah.
I feel like AI at the like growing up watching him as a youngin,
Yeah.
his game, the crossover, he wasn't like big. He was just a regular kind of guy.
Yeah.
Had the braids. I think I got braids because of him.
Yeah.
When I was young. Yeah. So I'm gonna say AI.
Okay.
Football. I gotta go Mike Vick.
Mike Vick.
Come
Oh,
on, bro.
legend. GOAT.
Like
Mike
I
Vick.
wore number 7 because of Mike Vick.
Yeah,
For
okay.
sure.
Yeah.
And runner. Ah, you know what? I'm a dude. I'm a flip it because
Yeah.
I'm a say ooh, runner. That's tough, bro. I mean,
You got a lot of names.
right. The obvious answer would be boat. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I'm not gonna go boat. I'm gonna go. Just cause I'm a real fan of hers. I'm gonna say Shelly Ann.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like that.
I'm gonna
I
say
love
yeah.
that.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah, yeah.
Shelly Ann.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So going back to your background, so what would you say was like the biggest challenges training athletes outdoors? Like what was the adversity challenge that you would face if you had any?
The biggest challenges.
Yeah.
If I was training outdoors, like now,
Yeah.
oh man, it's hot.
Yeah.
Like, bro, don't nobody want to be out there heat for
Yeah, definitely.
6 hours a
Yeah.
day.
Would you say you like a tough coach? You be hard, tough
Man,
trainer?
okay, I ain't gonna lie. I probably used to be very, very, very tough.
Yeah.
I think as I progressed, I think that I learned that everybody don't respond well
Yeah.
to that
Yeah, for
style
sure.
of coaching.
Yeah.
And so now I can feel it. Like it's
Yeah.
a filler. Like I'm gonna feel my way through it. Especially if we just started working.
Yeah.
I'm gonna feel my way through a couple of sessions and see if like, what your limits are, how you respond when I say
Yeah.
certain things like that. So for sure.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So what roles does your program play in mental health? Like
Man, I think for anybody, I think movement, exercise, training
yeah.
is good, what I'm saying, for mental health. It's a
Mhm.
great way to, release. It's a great way to escape. Um, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can really, get away from everything
Yeah.
in a session. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
you stressed, go work out.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you ain't healthy,
Yeah.
go work out.
Yeah.
If you got a lot on your mind or you anxious,
Yeah.
go work out. So I would say, I think it plays a big part.
Yeah.
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? For sure. Because I mean, I think at some given point, I think any and everybody kind of deals with that
Yeah, for
in
sure.
some form.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the forms of that mental health or mental depression, anything like
Yeah.
that, just looks different variations. But I think what I do definitely helps
Yeah.
with that.
Cause that's a big thing. Mental health is a big thing. So we definitely got to keep acknowledging that for sure.
100%.
Sure. Yeah.
100%. Absolutely.
How long have you been training for as a whole?
Ooh, I think we had 9 years.
No, okay, 9 years.
I think we
Okay.
had 9 years.
That's about as long as I've been living in Dallas for 9 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 9. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
9. I think I'll be coming up on 10. Honestly, this probably will be my 10th year.
So did you come
Going into the
down
summer,
doing
going
that?
to
You
to
came
Dallas.
down. You came down training.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
When I moved from Little Rock, I took a job
Yeah.
specifically, you know what I mean, to move to Dallas. If I hadn't have took that job, I wouldn't have been in
Yeah.
Dallas.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Significant movements. I think in what we do and what we found is
Yeah.
that, there are different movements, different exercises that we can microdose and kind of
Yeah.
implement into programming
Yeah.
a little bit at a time, like daily, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? And that could prevent
Yeah.
injuries.
Okay.
I think that now not only have studies shown, I think that we got proof of concept because where I work, we deal with that daily.
Yeah.
Whether it's on my side, the performance side, or whether it's on the physical therapy side.
Yeah.
So I see that daily. Now some things are freak accidents. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that these exercises are going to be 100% preventative, from any and every injury.
Yeah.
But I think for any athlete, you do want to put yourself in the best case scenario to be prepared and do everything you can, to help
Okay.
prevent being
Yeah.
injured for sure.
Did you sustain a lot of injuries when you was
Man,
playing?
I've never been injured in my life.
Never.
Ever.
For real? Are you
Ever.
good? Okay. Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because nobody believes me.
Let's knock on
Like,
some wood.
no, yeah, what is
So,
because
you got it. Yeah.
nobody believes me. No ACLs, no torn, broken, nothing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Definitely.
I'm blessed.
Yeah. Definitely.
I got through multiple sports, multiple games, and I've had a little, ankle twist or pulled hammy, but
Yeah.
nothing crazy.
I feel that.
So yeah.
No gym, no connections, or no funding. How would you think you would overcome that? Just starting it from scratch.
It's crazy because if you know better, you do better. And it's one of those things where, you learn by trial and error.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have the resources, if you didn't have the technology, it's an old saying, man, if you want to run fast, you got to run fast.
Yeah.
And so, if I didn't have all that, I would just say like, we just kind of we gotta run.
Yeah.
We gotta be able to get our bodies to adapt to
Yeah.
moving that fast, and it probably would just be a lot of different types of run, anaerobic and aerobic kind of cross training, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Man.
if I didn't have nothing, I wouldn't have no choice but to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this generation now, society has changed a lot since back then. I was talking to older heads back in the day. I was like, "Is it really real that it was black and white back in the day for y'all?"
Yeah,
no, they did the cartoons.
Listen. You hear stories. When Dion was at the combine, and I've gotten some verifications that he literally did not train.
Yeah,
like I don't even know. They say he didn't even stretch.
Dang.
They said he had his sweats on and his chains and everything.
Yeah.
And they called his name. And he was like, "Oh, it's my turn." And just walked up, got on the line, and just ran. 4-4, 4-3, whatever. I don't know, 4-4-2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
That's insane.
Why? I ain't never heard that story about. Now I'm finna go home and I'm finna read it after this podcast. I ain't never heard that one before.
The legend of Dion, man. It just continued.
Okay. What's non-physical skill would you feel like athletes should focus on?
Non-physical.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think IQ. IQ is big. I think whatever sport you play, whatever it is, even track, volley, whatever. Like I think understanding your sport, your game, your position. I think non-physical, like you can never do too much of that.
Yeah.
I think I attest to when we were younger, we played the game so much, And then we went outside and played the game so much that
Yeah.
our IQ, we just understood.
Yeah.
But now it's like they're not playing as much outside of, like,
Yeah.
the mandatory stuff. And then um, everybody trying to be hybrids and do more than, I guess, what they
Yeah.
should be doing. But I
Yeah, for
think
sure.
if the IQ understanding the game goes up, I think, you know, the non physical stuff on the opposite side, you ain't gotta, obviously you gotta worry about it. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
could do that and focus on
Yeah.
getting understanding what's happening.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel that for sure, for sure. So, how do you handle being a trainer and an entrepreneur? How do you balance those things?
Uh a planner.
Yeah.
Get you a planner, man. Write everything down.
Yeah.
No, I think for me, I think I've been able to balance everything, right, that's going on. I think balance my schedules and prioritize, what comes first, what comes second.
Yeah.
Um I think that's probably the biggest thing for me. But then also, man, understanding like anything I do gotta align with going in the same direction. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So if I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, okay, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur in the same field as my work.
Yeah.
I can, because they go together.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, at this point in time, I think that's important.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah. That's big time right there, eh? What advice would you give inspiring trainers who like to be in your shoes and establish their brand one day?
Man, listen, it, don't let this Instagram and Twitter and social media shit fool you.
Yeah.
Man, you gotta put hours in. Like I used to have this thing, 10,000 hours. Like you heard of
Mhm.
that? The method. Man,
Yeah.
you got to.
Yeah.
You know, in this field, you got to put the hours in. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
Like, and I ain't met too many people that just come in the game and go straight to the top.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't even seen that happen in too many sports. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Hell, in life.
Yeah.
So, I think some of the most successful people I know, outside of what I do, they had to start somewhere. They had to put a lot of hours in,
Yeah.
long nights, early mornings.
Mhm.
They had to go through being underpaid and undervalued, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Like, it happens.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I feel like the biggest thing I could really tell them is like, if you really love what you do,
Yeah.
you'll put the hours in and you'll understand that you're working towards something
Yeah,
better.
for sure.
But you gotta put the hours in.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
That's like when I be saying when I would talk to like football players, I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, as fans, we be seeing them on TV, but
Yeah.
it's more work that actually goes
Hours.
behind it. Ain't them just getting on the field. So I'll be respecting, all the stuff that behind the work
Hours.
scene that I be seeing. Yeah,
Hours.
for sure,
Yeah.
sure. Are there any routines and habits that help you keep you grounded?
For sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to get in that Bible. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I think for me, staying grounded in the Word. Whether I'm dealing with uncertainty or stress or whatever.
yeah,
That the book, big guy, got a chapter book for everything.
yeah, yeah,
And so I think for me, what I mean, that's big. I think making sure that I can prioritize my working out,
yeah,
that's big. Whether it's to start my day, midday, whatever, I'll figure it out.
yeah,
I prefer to do it in the morning. Start my morning with a good workout so I can have my mind clear and I ain't got to worry about it at the end of my day.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
always knowing when to hit the reset button.
yeah, for
I
sure.
think that help me that keeps me grounded. That helps keep
Yeah,
me grounded.
yeah,
Because we so caught up in grind, team no sleep. Man,
yeah,
fuck that. Listen,
yeah,
bro. You know what I mean? You better learn how to hit that reset button.
yeah,
Because if what you doing is help like having you pour out,
hmm,
and you got to pour in
yeah,
some way, somehow.
yeah,
So I think for me, understanding how to hit that reset button, whether it's a small reset, and it's like on a Sunday,
yeah,
one day, or whether it's like a weekend,
yeah.
and knowing when and I can fit those kind
I
of
feel
things
you.
in,
Yeah,
and then man, probably my baby girls, knowing that I got three young black women
Yeah,
looking
for
up to
sure.
me,
Yeah,
watching what I do and how
yeah,
I do it. So I want to set a foundation and a good example for them to let
yeah,
them know you have to work to earn.
yeah,
You gotta, persevere and be resilient, blah blah blah, all this other stuff.
yeah.
But I think
Okay,
for me, those for sure, like keep me like, all
sure.
right, man, lock in.
Okay,
You know what I'm
love.
saying? If I'm
Yeah,
veering off, like, all right, now
yeah.
you better lock in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know the kids be the biggest motivation. I ain't got no kids, so
yeah.
I know how to miss. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah. So what do you say has been your proudest moment in your career so far?
man, so many. It's so many like proud moments of like an athlete or in my
Yeah,
accomplishments.
your accomplishments.
Um, um, my accomplishments. Man, it's okay. I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna say I think once I was able to, get to the point to where I could lead, my own programs, whether it be NFL offseason, whether it was, me having like some MLB guys or, some
Yeah,
pro NBA guys or overseas guys or whatever, even some USA track and field, ladies. I think for me, it was more so getting to that point.
yeah,
I think was like a huge accomplishment for
yeah,
me, um, just because I had put those hours in, I had put the time in, I had to prove myself over and over and over again,
yeah.
and so when I finally got to the point to where you know like people felt confident and kind of trusted me and what I was doing,
Yeah.
and what I could do for them. I think for me that was like a big moment. I couldn't really
Okay.
tell you when that moment was, but it was a big
Yeah,
moment. It was a
yeah.
big moment for
Okay, I
sure.
got you for sure.
Hmm.
So last question I got to you before I close this podcast out, like how do you connect to your community and how do you why do you think that's so important? Like making sure you give back and communicate with your community.
Man, look, for me, like you can't never forget where you come from. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. Anybody watching this from the city,
yeah,
like they know I'm one of the biggest advocates for the city. Um, and I've been doing what I do for Little Rock since I started throwing parties I was
yeah,
16.
yeah,
And I only started throwing parties for them. You
yeah,
know what I mean? For the community, for the city, for my people. And that grew. Like I always gave back. Always had toy drives. I
yeah,
gave back to numerous families and communities. Always did, feed the homeless.
mm,
Did that every year. I mean, you just always want to stay in tune, stay
sure.
connected.
Yeah,
I mean, because they raised me, they made me. They instilled a lot in
yeah,
me. The city supported me a lot. Um, and so like I could never forget where I come
yeah,
from. You know what I mean? No matter where I go, where this career
yeah,
takes me, like I can always go back home and go to the hood spots. I'm gonna
yeah,
go to pull up on Wing Express. I'm gonna go to Wing
yeah,
Shack.
for sure.
I'm gonna go to Chicken King. I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna go to where I'm gonna go to all the spots. Like I'm gonna go
Yeah,
show love. I'm gonna go to the little food trucks my partner and them
yeah.
got. Like I'm going.
I remember
So
going back to them part. I remember them flying D these days. I used to
come
stay up in there. I
on,
used to stay
man.
up in there,
What?
man. Fly D. I
We
was
had a
serving it.
beach in the
Yeah.
club. What they talking about,
Yeah,
man?
we got lit. The city need that back again. But yeah, it be going up for
Ah,
sure.
yeah, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's love. It's love.
Okay.
I think that's big.
Yeah.
That's big. You know what I mean? Plus my kids there. My family is some of my family, my sisters,
Okay.
still there. So um, yeah, could never lose
For
touch. You know
sure.
what I'm saying
Yeah.
with the crib.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, appreciate you taking the time
Man,
to come on my
appreciate you for having
podcast,
me,
my
bro.
boy.
You
Yes,
feel me?
sir, for sure.
I'll be back.
Hey, you got any more shout outs you want to give? Shout out
Man,
to
listen.
501,
Shout
Little
out
Rock,
to the
Arkansas,
city.
for sure. Shout out.
Man, shout out
Yeah.
to the team, man, built for it, the whole
Yeah.
gang over
Yeah.
there. Shout out to the ISO girls. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Nice.
them. They my little girls, man, they 10-0. They're trying to win the whole thing for the Nike EYBL.
For
Shout out
sure.
to them.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Bro, shout out to anybody out there hustling,
Yeah.
anybody out there getting it.
For
And when I
sure.
say hustling, trust me,
Yeah.
your hustle is anything that you're doing and putting your time and effort into. Shout
Yeah.
out to you.
Yeah.
Keep hustling.
I said he gonna be back. We locked in, my boy.
No doubt. No
Appreciate
doubt.
you, my boy.
Appreciate you, bro.
Already.
No.
But if you guys like today's video with Jay Taylor, make sure you guys like subscribe to D Hop TV.
Yeah.
Appreciate
We
you.
out of here.
That John flew, man.